All right, we're going to work on this really simple, fun bird for springtime. If you are one of my bigger kids, you can still do this. You don't have to make it super simple. Go through it and you're going to add a lot more detailed designs. If you're one of my little people, I'm going to show you how to do it just like this. Today I'm actually using crayons and watercolors. If you don't have watercolors, it's okay. We can use that marker trick where we outline things with marker and then we color them with just using our paintbrush and water. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was what my watercolor from my marker looks like. Look at how much that's soaked in there. All right, so this is really great. The longer I leave it in here with the little amount of water, the stronger that color is going to be. So I probably put in not enough water in here. I mean, wait, I put in too much water. Just put a little bit of water in, but you can make your own watercolor like this if you have markers that are running out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this guy. What I want everyone to do is get a clean sheet of paper. You can use your sketchbook for it, or you can go ahead and get another sheet of paper. But I'm going to move this out of the way, pull up a piece of paper. One thing that I do know is that the paper I'm using is a little bit heavier than your sketchbook paper, and that is because we were on a time crunch and had to order paper for you. But in order to get it to you in a timely fashion, we were not able to get the kind that I would have hoped to have. So we're just going to work with what we have. If you have the opportunity to have heavier sulfite paper, that's what I use. It's sulfite. It's 90 pound. I think we have 80 pound or 60 pound. I'm not sure in our sketchbooks, but it's just a little bit different. It holds the water and the thickness of the paper, you can tell. But we can all make it work, right? All right, so I'm using I'm not using a Sharpie right now. I'm going to use a black crayon. So to make my little bird, I'm going to use a black crayon, and then I'm going to go ahead and just make a circle, but it's kind of an oval. It's a little bit more egg-shaped than it is a perfect circle. So I'm going to I want to use as much of my paper, so my hand is right here. If I make a super tiny bird, I'm going to have a lot of background, and I won't be able to put all of my neat designs on him. All right, and I really want to do that. So I'm going to take my bird and I'm going to press hard with my crayon and I'm going to make that oval. Now, if I'm an older student, instead of making basic patterns inside here like this and lines and shapes, I'm going to be much more intricate and I'm going to design my bird. Maybe he's going to have vines and flowers coming up the side of him. Maybe my bird has a pattern to him. You're going to think about that. All right, we're going to take our crayon, make a circle for his eye, and he has an eye that is like, what's just happened? So he's sticking up, and we're going to make really nice beak because he is hungry and he wants something to eat. Alrighty, down here at the bottom, I'm going to give him these little rounded rectangles or even a pointy triangle and give him some legs. I could make these with fur on them if I wanted to, or feathers. Sorry, feathers. All right, I'm going to give him a little tail feather back here, and even put some lines on it. And I'm going to give him some little feathers coming up at the top, or we don't even know if these are feathers, do we? Just some little decorations of coming off the top of his head. It makes him look a whole lot cuter when he has these on him. Okay. Yes, if you want to make him into a girl, please, by all means, give him eyelashes. All right. I'm going to go ahead and give him a wing. And if I'm going to make little feather shapes on mine. You don't have to. Okay. Now that I have my basic bird drawn, I want to go through using my black crayon and add some shapes. So if I am feeling like I can make triangles or I can make checkers or lines, I'm going to do that right now. So I could go through and make shapes on my bird. Maybe he needs a few polka dots down here. But if I am feeling really creative, I could maybe make a pattern or design on my bird that would be a little bit different. So I want my older kids to think of what a mandala looks like and how you're repeating a pattern over and over again. So my bird, I'm going to turn it over. So if this is my bird, I might have something on it that has a circle. Here's my bird's eye, and I'm going to create a pattern within a pattern for my bird. And I think that my 7th and 8th graders from last year remember making the mandalas. So we're just repeating a pattern over and over again. So you could definitely really intricately work on this. And if I wanted to use Sharpie so that I could have that really detailed, then I would do that. All my other friends, we're just making these basic fun little pieces on my bird. I'm going to give him some freckle lines up here. So I'm just using the shapes that I know and lines that I know to make my bird really fun. Okay, so I've given him a lot of designs. I've jazzed him up. Now I'm going to use my crayons, and I'm not going to color him. I'm just going to go next to my lines. Now I'm going to use watercolor to paint him later. But right now I want to use these really great crayons to liven up. Because remember, watercolor and crayons, just like watercolor and oil pastels. Oh, boys and girls, if you have oil pastels at home, I want you to use those. Those are even better to use than our crayons. They do not like oil. They do not like watercolor at all. And they will make really bright colors on our paper. But I'm just going to use crayon. Crayon makes me happy too. So look at this crayon. He's old and sad and nobody wants him. You know that I get all the crayons nobody wants. So they all end up in my room. So good thing we get to use them. I'm just going to add, oh, I thought that was more green. I'm just going to add all these details. So you're going through and you're doing it just like I am. You're using lots of different color crayons. Oops, I press really hard. I break those a lot, don't I? I'm just giving my bird all kinds of detail. If I felt like coloring his polka dots in, I could color his polka dots in. Boys and girls, if you have baby brothers and sisters, you could show them how to do this too. You're kind of like the expert. You can show them how to do art with me, right? We're just going to go through and add it. No, this is fun. I like doing this. It's relaxing to me. I like coloring. Coloring makes me relax. Oh, look, on this one, I added some swirls. Oh, I think he would like to have some swirls. What I really like about this is that I have this yellow and then look at how the red makes it pop off of the paper. I love to use that word, pop off of the paper. All right. So I'm just digging through looking for some other crayons. I'm going to outline these direct triangles. All right, I have a lot of color. I just want to make sure that I have color on my picture. I don't want to leave it just blank and not have any color and just have black on it, okay? So once I do this, I'm going to use my watercolor. Now remember, I've told you this before. If you do not have watercolor at home, you can use those markers again. And you're going to take that marker and put it in a certain area, and then you're going to make it bleed. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if I wanted to start off with a light blue, say, for instance, I would take my marker and color it a little bit. And then I would take my paintbrush with water on it. I would smear it around. All right, just blending it around. And it's acting like paint, all right? And if you have watercolor at home, you're just going to do this. Now, the more paint I have and the less water, the brighter that color is going to be, right? So look at how similar those colors are. And this one's from my paint palette. The other one was from a marker. So I don't want you to worry if you don't have watercolors at home, all right? Now, I like to think about colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. Now, we've talked about this in class before, and I know you don't have a color wheel at home to look at. But if we were looking at a color wheel, we would know that orange and purple are opposite each other, orange and blue too. That means they're going to stick out. I'm going to put, with my green, I think red would look really nice on top of it, even though, because they're not going to mix, so I can do that. That would look really good. Or I think even purple would look really nice. Oh, I just used purple. Mrs. Solomon. It's like I'm not even paying attention to what's happening. Goofy me. See what this yellow does. Kind of silly sometimes when I don't pay attention, huh? Let's see, this is a dark purple. Ooh, let's do that one. This is more violet. Get that on there. All right. And the really fun thing about watercolor, one of the things I love about watercolor is that they blend. Ooh, look at how that turned green. See? You guys can do all kinds of cool stuff when you have watercolors. So use those markers as watercolor. That works too. I don't want you to give up on that. And we're just going to fill in our whole bird. All right, and do you notice how I'm not painting certain parts of him a certain color? Do you notice how I'm just painting all of it a whole bunch of colors? That's what I want you to do. I want him to kind of look like tie-dye. I don't want him to be a red eye and a blue and a green and everything separate. I want it to sort of blend together. Practice using your watercolor skills. And then when you're done, don't forget his leg and his tail. So get some color back there. And let's get some color on his tail here. I mean his legs. And then I want to go ahead and paint the background. So you can pick whatever color. I have a blue here that I'm going to use. All right? And then you'll have your bird. And he'll be super cute and fun and just a really simple, but it's nice to be able to paint sometimes. And using that water and spreading it all around works really, really well. You can even tell your family about what a messy mat is and what we use it for in the classroom. Even though we're not going to be using tempera paint for anything, still having a messy mat that you can pull out every day to do your art on would be really, really neat. And you can show them what we do with it and how we use it over and over and over again. All right, friends, I hope you had fun. Again, this can be done in your sketchbook or on a separate sheet of paper. Either works for you, and I can't wait to see what you've created.